So project people, who's involved in a project? We've used this term stakeholders. We've also used things like customers or clients, contractors, users. And these are all people involved or affected by the project. They're project stakeholders. Customers, clients, these are usually the people who are paying for the project. Contractors might be people who are paid to do the work to deliver the project. Users of the project might not pay, but they're directly affected by the project in some way. So we could have contractors, software contractors working on a new software project for a customer who's going to implement this, and the users could be members of the general public who are going to use this new software. It's important to include the managers of the people that are working on the project. If a manager has assigned somebody to work on your project, they are a stakeholder. They need to be informed on the progress of that project. We need to think quite widely about the different stakeholders in a project. Unions, trade unions, could be a stakeholder in a project. The media are involved in a project, environmental organisations. So a project stakeholder is somebody who is affected by the project in some way, either involved directly or indirectly with the project. They can help contribute to the project's success. Another definition of a project stakeholder, people who have a vested interest in the project or in the organisation or in the environment that the project is running in. So we need to make sure that our project stakeholders are supportive. We need to keep them on our side. So in order to do this, we need to identify who they are, understand what they need from the project, and we need to communicate with them. So clearly, if we don't identify who they are, we don't know what they need from the project, and we don't communicate with them. Good reason for project failure is not involving stakeholders, not communicating with them. Having identified these stakeholders, we can analyse them. Try and do a Google on stakeholder analysis, or Google an image on stakeholder analysis, and you'll see some diagrams. Some of the stakeholders will be internal to your organisation, some of them will be external to your organisation. Some of your stakeholders will be really powerful and have the ability to stop your project, and some of the stakeholders will have no power at all. They could be really interested in the project, external to your company, they've got no power at all. Always remember that some of the stakeholders will be for your project and some of the stakeholders will be against your project. Some of the stakeholders will be important or influential and some will be not important and not influential. So having identified the stakeholders and working out whether they've got influence or power, we can categorise them in these 4 ways. Clearly, the key players, or those with a high power or a high influence and a high level of interest in your project. So it's really important that we keep them very well communicated with. So as a result of the stakeholder analysis, we work out what we're going to do, how are we going to communicate with these stakeholders, and how frequently. As part of Lecture 12, we'll again look at communication methods and communication plans. So project stakeholders, it's really important to identify who they are. It's really important to analyse how powerful, how interested they are. And it's really important to communicate with them.